How's it going, everyone? Ajax the Mister here, and today we have some additional spoilers for episode 127 of Dragon Ball Super. Now, episode 126 airs this Saturday, but episode 127, of course, will be airing the following week, so we still have an episode in between next week's spoilers and this coming episode for this week. So if you guys don't want to be spoiled, at least you know roughly about what might go down in this week's episode or next week's, then click out of the video, but you have been warned. Let's get into the actual discussion. So first off, we have the title, A Looming Obstacle, Pinning Hope on a Final Barrier, February 11th. Again, that will be premiering next Saturday. Now, of course, with the whole final barrier statement, we kind of have an idea of who this is already going to be, but let's get deeper into the actual spoiler. Number 17's, there we go. And that is basically who it is that's going to be doing this final barrier technique. But moving on, number 17's do or die actions. The injured number 17 helps out Goku and Vegeta as they battle Jiren. Number 17 uses a life-risking strategy to support Goku and company against Jiren's overwhelming power. Now, this might not seem like a whole lot to get into, but there is a lot that we can, extract from this description, and it kind of tells us what exactly is going to go down in episode 126. Now, episode 126 is premiering this Saturday, and on a lot of people's minds, especially judging from the preview for this coming week, there was a lot of speculation that 17 was going to get knocked out of the arena. I mean, you have this God of Destruction Toppo that laid the smackdown on Frieza. I mean, you would think 17 is probably not going to last that long. And this was even further supported by just the preview itself, where it showed Toppo just, slapping around Vegeta across the arena. And it was implying that it was going to be a Vegeta versus Toppo episode. But if you think that if Toppo was originally fighting Frieza and 17, and now he's moving on to Vegeta, I mean, it doesn't take a genius to just realize, hey, it's probably more than likely that 17 was going to get eliminated in that episode. I mean, I think there was even a freeze frame in the preview that just showed 17 flying in the air, like he just got his ass knocked out and he's just flying through the air from the punch or the kick that he just received. So it was just logical for most people to assume, hey, episode 126 is the episode that 17 is going to get eliminated in. And then Toppo is going to move on to Vegeta, and then they're going to have their, second fiddle fight. But according to this episode 127 spoiler, that is not the case. 17 will not be eliminated in episode 126. As a matter of fact, he's going to have a huge role in episode 127. So that is really interesting as well. Big concern here, though, is the choice of words used in this episode description. Nowhere in here is there any mention of Toppo. Now, does that mean Vegeta is gonna annihilate Toppo in this week's episode of Super, in episode 126? Does Toppo need a breather for a couple of, minutes? Well, I mean, to be fair, there's really no couple minutes left. Like, we're on the last, I believe, 5 or 4 minutes of this tournament. Toppo needs to bring his A game. So, again, it just begs the question. There's no mention of Toppo anywhere in this episode description. So, it's like, where is the guy? Is he knocked out? Did Vegeta blast him out? Did 17 have anything to do with it? And again, maybe we shouldn't be reading too much into the absence of words in these episode descriptions, because I believe when we originally had the spoiler for, I believe it was episode 126 of Dragon Ball Super, which of course is the Vegeta versus Toppo fight that we're getting this week. Originally, the spoiler for that episode only talked about Vegeta fighting Toppo. I don't believe there was any mention of 17, so because of that, I mean, people assumed, hey, there's no mention of 17 here, maybe he's eliminated. But that's obviously not the case. 17 is coming back in episode 127, so maybe Toppo is still around. Again, I don't think Vegeta is just going to move on from someone like Toppo, the way he's been presenting himself in last week's episode and the way he's going to present himself in this week's episode. I don't see Vegeta just moving on or taking a break from Toppo to focus on Jiren with, 17 and Goku. So we'll have to wait and see there. But judging by the actual title card of this episode and just, little hints in the description itself, this episode 127, which is premiering next week, that is seemingly the episode where 17 is going to get eliminated. I don't see 17 staying any longer than episode 127, just based on this description alone, and even the title card itself, pinning hope on a final barrier. That just seems like a final hurrah, or just some strategy that 17 is utilizing so that Goku and Vegeta can get maybe some HP damage on Jiren, because the man is still holding strong and he hasn't even unleashed his full power yet. And we also still have Frieza just taking a little nap on the edge of the arena. He is knocked out for the time being, but he's not out of the Tournament of Power just yet. So we're probably going to get him and his return in maybe episode 128, I assume. Maybe at the end of episode 127, we'll get a hint of Frieza joining back into the fight, because he can't handle Toppo at all. Toppo needs to be out of the picture right away if Frieza's ever going to come back. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the episode 127 spoilers. Let me know what you all think in the comments below. Do you think the absence of any mention of Toppo in this description or title card means that Toppo is going to get eliminated in this week's episode of Dragon Ball Super, episode 126, where he fights Vegeta? Now, we can go back and forth and say, hey, maybe it's just Vegeta that knocks him out. Maybe Toppo just needs a breather for like a couple seconds. But again, it needs to be noted that there's no mention of Toppo in this episode. But at the same time, you could say the same for 17 in episode 126, where we all assumed he was gonna get eliminated. And in what way do you think 17 is gonna help out Goku and Vegeta with Jiren? Is he gonna be a distraction? In what way is he going to use his barrier? Because again, the guy doesn't run out of ki or stamina, so that's going to be hella important to utilize. And let me know what you all think in the comments below. Share your thoughts, like the video if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to stay beautiful. I'm Ajax the Mister, and as always, folks, thanks for watching.